Some people are more interested in talking about the problem than solving the problem. Hi, my name is James, and this is my take on reality. In this episode, I wanted to talk about Liz and Big Ed. More importantly, I wanted to talk about Liz. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people who have seen the tell-alls and have seen the season from 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, and have a lot to say about Ed. I understand. Ed is a horrible person. He's a troll of a man. And I'm not just talking about him because of his size and his stature. I'm talking about the level of his character. He is a leech on anybody whom he will be in a relationship with. He is constantly looking for advantage. He is constantly trying to find a way to bully the people whom he's in a relationship with. Now, we all understand that, and looking at it, we can understand why it is crazy that this young lady Liz keeps going back to him and keeps trying to involve herself with this gentleman and in his issues and be around him and continue to even entertain the idea of just dating him is crazy. Just seeing him on the side is nuts to me. But the idea that you're waiting for this guy to marry you and do what? Condemn you to a lifetime of the same torture and torment that he's giving you now? It's insane. So, before we really get into it, I first want to say thank you to anybody who takes time to watch the videos. I also want to thank my subscribers. And if you're considering subscribing, hey, it's easy to do. All you got to do is go down below, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell for notification when I upload new videos. It's awesome, and it really helps the channel out. It helps me out, and hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and give me that HBO special, which stands for Help a Brother Out Special, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get it. Now, when push comes down to shove, like I said, Ed is a horrible human being. But when I look at this situation, I have to say something about Liz's participation in this entire mess that they call a relationship. I understand if you are a good friend, you want to help your friend. You want to be there for people and make sure that they have the best, most positive experience. You want to make sure that they have good advice that they can act on. You want to be a resource to them. You want to be a shoulder to cry on for them. However, with a person like Liz, she is one of the 5 people you should avoid. Now, everybody knows you should avoid competitors and users and people who are trying to take advantage of you, bullies and this, that, and the other. But the one person that kind of slips under the crack because they appeal to our sense of sympathy and our sense of decency is the person who is the complainer. Liz is a complainer. She's somebody who every time you see her, she will have a story about how Ed has done this and Ed has done that, and he's mistreated her and treated her so wrong, and how she's so victimized, and why everybody should feel bad for her, and why everything is not going her way, etc., etc., etc. This person will drive you crazy. They will suck the life force out of you. Because if you watch the tell-all, with everything that happened just on the tell-all, Ed get caught cheating. Oh, I'm talking to my ex-girlfriend. Oh, you get caught. No, I haven't. I haven't been talking to her. Oh, Ed, we got her. Here she is, Rose, his ex-fiance, who's here saying it now that he's been contacting her as early as a few months ago when y'all were supposedly getting back together. He's laying in bed texting her messages, talking about, hey, I want to come see you, blah, blah, blah. And everybody does the whole, jump on Ed, and then after the show is over, everybody gathers around and supports Liz, which I understand. They tell her how pretty she is and how she doesn't deserve this kind of foolishness, etc., etc., etc. But in that circumstance, Ed had to ask for his ring back. She didn't give him the ring back. She didn't break up with him. He broke up with her. How you going to cheat on somebody and then break up with them because you got caught cheating on them? And why are you sitting there tolerating that? It's ridiculous. Then she spent the whole night because they, in these tell-alls, they're trying to get fancy. So they follow him to a different bar. And while they're at the different bar, he's sitting there saying, hey, let me talk to you. Then he calls her upstairs. gives her the whole, on the way to the bar while she's with the other wives or whatever, she's complaining about Ed. Everything's about her. She gets to the bar, she's still complaining about Ed. All the conversations about her. Then Ed comes over, asks to talk to her upstairs. They go upstairs to have the conversation. Bingo bango. Ed blames her because he feels like he was betrayed because she didn't stick up for him, even though he was cheating on her. And she turns around and he says, my feelings was hurt and I feel like you were just acting. She gets up, runs downstairs. First thing she does is try to find a sympathetic ear so she can continue complaining. And that's the whole cycle of life with this type of person. They're always going to put themselves in a situation where they have a bigger and better story to tell you every time they see you. And you will sit there and listen to that story. You'll counsel them and talk to them. And all of it is a waste of time. Because at the end of the day, as J. Cole said, you can't save her. She don't want to be saved. She don't want to be saved. You can talk to her till you're blue in the face. You can talk to her till you as blue in the face as my shirt. At the end of the day, she is never going to leave this guy. She's never going to leave him alone. She's never going to stop talking to him. She's never going to not pick up the phone when he calls. Because when she picks up the phone, it gives her attention. And that's what she seeks. Part of the reason why this is so destructive to any relationship is because you will spend 90% of your time as a friend talking about the bad news that she brings to the table. You won't talk about your hopes, your dreams, the things you're going through. You're too busy talking to her about her problems. Or more to the point, not even her problems, her problem. And that isn't feeding your relationship. That isn't making you stronger as a friend. The thing that would have broke me, and I know there may be some people who don't necessarily watch 90 Day Fiance, but watch my videos. Thank you very much for that. But one of the things that kind of broke me with her is the fact that he took her greatest fear and turned it against her. Let's watch this clip.
I don't ever want to be back in a position where I'm starting from rock bottom.
What did that require of you to be able to get yourself back to a place where you weren't dependent on somebody else?
Sending my daughter to live with her dad for a little bit. Sleeping in my car.
I had no idea. The fact that you lived in your car just breaks my heart.
I got dumped by Ed again. Ed pretty much told me I had less than a week to find a place to live. After a month and a half of couch surfing, I finally found a great apartment.
As you can see in the clip, he sat there, and the way I took it, even from the first time I saw it, this is from season 7, I believe, episode 10, where they went to a counselor, couples counseling, and she opened up and told him, one of my greatest fears, I feel insecure that I may one day be homeless and sleeping in my car. Well, last time I had a boyfriend, my boyfriend put me out. I had to give my daughter to her father, and I had to sleep in the car. And I don't want to go back to that. And he's sitting there listening, and this is part of the problem with talking to narcissists. They don't listen to how they can help you. They don't listen to how they can correct their behavior. What they're listening for is how they can gain advantage. That's what Ed was doing. He was listening to where he could take advantage of her. And that's when he started the whole, I never knew that about you, and started crying. That's a problem in itself. How are you with a woman who you've been engaged to multiple times and you've known for years, and you had no idea that the time before she was dating you, she was homeless and sleeping in her car? She never felt safe enough to tell you or give you that information. That in and of itself would be reason to call a relationship off. He no sooner heard that. The first thing he did when she gets a job and she's able to support herself and she's not relying on him so he can't bully her and control her the way he wants to, how does he punish her? He puts her out. And he doesn't give her months so she can get settled and she can be secure. No. He tells her that she has to be out and sends her out into the street where she has a bag of trash. She has all her belongings in a trash bag, and from there she has to couch surf. Then, after she finally settles down after a month and a half, she finds an apartment and she makes herself secure and settled. And after that, they still start dating again. You should never be in a situation, if somebody does this to you, you should never talk to them again. I'm all about having peaceful resolutions, peaceful breakups, and everybody being adults and all that. But if somebody is to treat you that way and have that little regard for you, there's no room for you to be able to have a relationship outside of one finger salute, and not this finger. One finger salute and keep it pushing. That should be the only greeting you ever give them from that point forward. And I mean that. Like, there's no way in the world you should subject yourself to continually being abused by the same person in this way. Now, what this tells me is that Liz has a lot of issues. Liz has a lot of problems. They don't need couples counseling. She needs direct, intensive therapy to get over whatever it is that's ailing her, whatever trouble she has, so that she can get out of her own way, so that she can make herself happy. If you have friends like this and you're committed to this person and you want to try your best to work it out with them, here's 3 things that I would suggest. First, you want to listen to what they're saying. You want to listen intently, actively listen to what they're talking about. The whole, he treated me this way. I told him I wanted to be homeless. He put me in the street. I didn't have nowhere to go. I had to give up my daughter. I'm in a custody battle for my daughter currently. And he put me in the street and made me unstable. So therefore, it makes it harder for me to get my daughter. Cool. You listen. Then what you do is you restate to them what you just heard from them. You don't give them your opinion. You just restate to them what they just told you and ask them, the only question you ask, is that correct? And then they'll say yes, that's exactly what happened. Then your next question, number 3, what you do is you ask one simple question. What are you going to do about it? That's it. What are you going to do? Because you can sit there and go back and forth about how terrible it is all day. You can talk about what an asshole he is all day. But at the end of the day, the real question is, what you going to do about it? Ed put you out. He didn't care if you slept on a park bench, you slept in your car, you slept in the bowels of hell. He didn't give a damn what you did. He just told you to get the hell out of his house because he wanted to make you unstable. So what you going to do about it? Oh, Ed lied and he was on a social media site and all that stuff. To me, all that stuff that they were talking about during the tell-all was irrelevant. After I heard he put her in the street and put her out the house, that was all I needed to hear. That was it. That was done dotted. That was the worst possible thing he could possibly do to her. Him cheating on her, that's like small potatoes. But okay, fine, he did that. What you gonna do about it? And my thing is, if you're not going to do anything about it, stop asking about it and hey, let's stop talking about it. Because all it's doing is making you upset. Because if you don't care enough to do something about it, there's no point in us dragging it through. I can't give you a position or an opinion. You know what it is you have to do. And she knows what she has to do. Oh, but I love him. I want to marry him. Oh, I want to be with him. But he's not going to change. And when we talk about change, there's a saying I've said on this channel before. I quoted it from a movie called 8mm with Nicolas Cage and Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix said this line in 8mm. He said, when you dance with the devil, you don't change the devil changes you. Let's watch this clip.
Because I'm really realizing how much I have changed as a person to be there for him.
Now, as you can see, even in Liz's case, she had the best intention of trying to change Ed and trying to make the situation with him better. So what she did was she made concessions for Ed, trying to help him, trying to change him. And the only person who changed in that situation was her. She was the only person who changed in that situation because she made these accommodations for him to make him feel more comfortable. And once he felt more comfortable, he had no reason to change. He was going to marry her. What drive did he have to become a different person or to improve? None. And when she gets involved and she puts her hooks in her friends, it will be the same thing. These people will have to, in order for them to continue their relationship with her and support her, they have to support her decision to marry this guy. They have to show up to the wedding. They have to know that he's abused her in so many ways and sit up at the wedding and smile in his face and act like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread because that's what she wants you to do, because she wants you to support him irregardless of how you believe about it and what you believe about it, what your moral stance is on it. So you have to compromise who you are in order for you to maintain a friendship with somebody else. And for me, I think that that's too much of that's too high cost for me to endure. The price is too high. The price tag, I got sticker shock. I can't compromise my beliefs in who I am for anybody. So if that means that for me to support you, I have to take a step back, that's what you have to do. And that's what would be my suggestion to her friends. If you can't sit there and tolerate and watch her destroy herself trying to chase this guy around, then you may have to take a step back. And if you have somebody who is negative like this in your life, they're not adding positivity. They're not adding to your life. Sometimes you got to let go. Because you're not helping them. If you continue to make it easy for them to survive in this situation, you're not helping them. You're actually enabling them and you're hurting them. So it's just something to think about. This has been my take on reality. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Appreciate it. My name is James. This is my take on reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I